call to order the St. Charles City Council meeting for Monday, November 21st, 2022. Nancy, please call the roll.
Weber.
Present.
Sulkaitis.
Here.
Calomeros.
Here.
Palaner.
Here.
Bongard.
Here.
Bancroft.
Here.
Lencioni. Petrilla.
Here.
Werbo.
Here.
Besner.
Here.
Thank you. Tonight's invocation will be given by Alderperson Petrilla.
This evening, we continue to seek your guidance and wisdom while making decisions for our community and to do our best to respond in the best interests of those we represent. Amen.
Thank you. Alderperson Besner, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Will do, Your Honor. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have one proclamation this evening, and given that it's Thanksgiving holiday this weekend, we roll into several other events like Small Business Saturday and Giving Tuesday. This proclamation is for Small Business Saturday 2022. Whereas entrepreneurs, small business owners, and other business leaders work to grow their business, create jobs, drive innovation, and invest in our communities, and whereas St. Charles enjoys a healthy mix of more than 2,000 businesses, many of them locally owned restaurants, boutique shops, and independent service businesses that offer a variety of shopping options, services, and job opportunities within our community. And whereas small business owners are passionate entrepreneurs who invest their time, talents, and financial resources to contribute to making the St. Charles community a great place to live, work, and locate a business. And whereas our local businesses actively partner with the City of St. Charles Business Alliance, St. Charles Area Chamber of Commerce, and other key community partners to influence a growing, viable, and prosperous business climate for all business, big and small. And whereas the commitment of these entrepreneurs and local business leaders supports the local economic activity to help sustain a prosperous and growing city. Whereas creating opportunity is one of the cornerstones of the city's mission, and we're glad small businesses find everything they need to thrive right here. Now, therefore, I, Laura A. Vitek, Mayor of the City of St. Charles, along with the St. Charles City Council, do hereby proclaim November 26, 2022, a Small Business Saturday in the City of St. Charles, and encourage all citizens to shop local in support of the many small businesses in St. Charles. Thank you. Okay, Alderperson Bongard, the omnibus vote, please.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion approving the omnibus vote as reflected in tonight's agenda.
Second.
Moved by Bongard, seconded by Palaner. Any questions? Nance, please call the roll.
Weber.
Yes.
Sulkaitis.
Yes.
Calomeros.
Yes.
Palaner.
Yes.
Bongard.
Yes.
Bancroft.
Yes.
Lencioni. Petrilla.
Yes.
Werbo.
Yes.
Besner.
Yes.
Thank you. There aren't any items for old business or new businesses this evening. Committee reports. Ron Sulkaitis, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Besner, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Under Planning and Development, Alderperson Weber is abstaining for item number 2, so I'll turn that over to Alderperson Besner.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve an ordinance granting approval of a special use for a recreational cannabis dispensing organization, 584 South Randall Road, Consume Cannabis of St. Charles.
And I know that this is non-omnibus vote, so I know Russ is available if anyone has questions up here on the dais. Okay? He moved it.
Oh, second.
Second by Bongard.
Sorry.
Moved by Besner, seconded by Bongard. Nance, any questions up here? No? Nance, please call the roll.
Weber.
Abstain.
Sulkaitis.
No.
Calomeros.
Yes.
Palaner.
No.
Bongard.
Yes.
Bancroft.
Yes.
Petrilla.
Yes.
Werbo.
Yes.
Besner.
Yes.
Thank you. I know before we move to public comment, I believe Alderperson
Yes.
Taylor
I
has
have a.
comment.
To move forward next spring, as the mayor has proposed, we need to take the next step. I'd like to propose we move forward by putting to a vote at our next Planning and Development meeting a motion directing staff to do a feasibility study on the property being considered for redevelopment on the old police department site. Such a study should include, but not limited to, infrastructure limitations, geotechnical analysis, and environmental evaluations. And from these studies, develop new guidelines for RFC or RFP submissions, and in doing so, return all submitted plans with an invitation to resubmit along with any other new proposals once new guidelines on feasibility have been developed.
Thank you, Alderperson Paylinger. Now, I don't think we need a vote for that. I do think I'll direct City Administrator McGuire. Do you have a comment, or can you add that to the next?
We'll ensure it's on the next Planning and Development Committee meeting.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have any other public comment this evening? Sure, sir.
My name is John Rapchuk, 914 Ash Street. Tracy, you have me down, I think. I just want to take a couple minutes to talk about the police station property, and from a different perspective than what I've heard or seen talked about so far. First and foremost, though, I wanted to thank the council. You guys, all of you, put up with a lot of stuff for little thanks, and these days in the world, everything is divisive. And just to say thank you for your time and your consideration. I know you're always thinking about the city first, all of you, so thank you very much. I also want to state that I'm here as an individual. I get associated with a couple of groups in town on a pretty regular basis, and I'm not representing them in any way. Although I will say that I was past chairman of the River Corridor Foundation, also past, maybe still, I don't know, because it's kind of in limbo, the Active River Task Force, which was put together. You know, our river and riverfront, as you well know, is probably our greatest asset. And because of that, emotions run high when we're talking about it. And that's a good thing. I think that some of the debate about the river and what could be done along different pieces of it, you know, we got a committee now that's looking at a section. We just finished the Langham Park area. We're looking at a section just north of that, you know, up to Illinois Street from the pedestrian bridge up to there. We've got some very creative ideas coming out. We think that's going to be very important. And with all the attention on the riverfront, I'm hoping that we see a lot of new members at River Corridor. So we'll see what happens. First and foremost, and I'll say this is my own personal opinion, this is not going to become a park. The police station property, you know, in my conversations with the park district and knowing what their budget is and informal. And Ron, I think you said, too, that as much as you want other things to happen and be a park, it's just not going to be a park. The park district can't afford it, in my opinion. They don't have it in their budget, and it's certainly not within the jurisdiction of the Forest Preserve. So it's going to get developed somehow, some way, either by the city or, you know, one of these private developers or something. So that's going to happen. We already have 6 parks in the downtown area. We're blessed with more parks. When we did the Active River study, we looked at cities all across the country. We had more park space in public-owned property along the river than any other town we looked at across the country. I mean, we're very fortunate to have it. We've got a great park district system. It's really helped all of us. The Forest Preserve, you know, in their work in putting together the connectivity on the bike trails has been terrific. That's their only role in the city, as I understand it. Is to make sure that connectivity on the bike trails, you know, goes through the municipal areas as well as out in the country. They do a great job at that. You know, again, we just finished in cooperation with the city, and I say we, the River Corridor Foundation and the city and the Park District got together along with some private grants to, you know, upgrade the Langham Park area, and I think it turned out great. We put a kayak launch station in there. The anglers seem to like it. They're down there fishing all the time, even though there's tons of construction going on with moving the pumping station. But I'm not going to talk about either one of the proposals. That's not my purpose tonight. I don't really, and I'm not going to do that because, quite frankly, I don't know enough. And I don't think any of us know enough about what, you know, can be done or what those 2 proposals really look like down underneath. I didn't know about your motion. I think that's very apropos, and I'm strongly endorse that as well. You know, part of what we don't know is I have never seen costs for what it's going to cost to demolish the current buildings that are there. I don't see that anyplace. I haven't seen the cost for moving the public utilities. I mean, both of the proposals, as I understand it, would like to bury the Commonwealth Edison line so that they're not, you know, across the buildings, et cetera. I've never seen a cost for that. I know it's very, very expensive. I also have not seen a tax study that says what would the revenue be, what would we generate off of developing that property? What's coming back if the city's got to put money into it, where is the revenue and how much and where does it come from? And is there a big difference between the proposals that are under consideration? I haven't seen that. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just, in all my research, going through what's posted and talking to aldermen and other people involved, I haven't seen that. We've also not done a traffic study. And by traffic study, I know that's of major concern. It always is on a development, especially one of this potential size. But the traffic study is not just a vehicular traffic. We have a major problem with pedestrian and cycle traffic through the downtown area. You get lost at Illinois Street coming from the south. You get lost when you're coming from the north is, do you cut into Potawatomi Park or no? You're not supposed to ride your bike through there by Park District rules, and there are signs to that effect, but people do. You come through and there's a very narrow gateway at the south end of Potawatomi Park underneath the railroad trestle. It's all of what, about 8 feet wide? Yep. I mean, you have all seen how congested it gets, etc., especially at the 4th of July fireworks celebration. It's amazing that we haven't lost some people in there, but anyway. So those are things that need to be done before I think you can fully evaluate either one of these proposals that are under consideration. So again, I'm very thankful for Alderman Fayleitner in proposing that activity, that focus group or study group, is that what you called it?
Putting it to staff, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, okay, staff. Yeah. Another big part of it, though, is that the river wall out here is falling apart. You know that because we can't even keep bricks on it anymore. We keep filling it with asphalt because it's washing out from underneath. When we did as the task force chairman of the Active River Task Force, this was back in 2000, I would say 15 years ago now, that was estimated to cost $5 to $8 million to move that wall or to replace that wall. Where's the money coming from for that? Somebody's got to pay for it. I know it's not in the city budget because I've gone through the budget. That's got to come out of this development somehow. So you better, before we make decisions, we better decide what that is. And quite frankly, that leads, as always in these cases, it leads to another question. If you're going to replace that wall, if we move the wall out by 10 or 12 feet, and I understand there's regulatory things that would have to go through to make that happen, we can put a walkway underneath Main Street Bridge. If we put a walkway under there and come up alongside, on the other side, come up gradually to Illinois, we can reduce pedestrian traffic on Main Street, and every pedestrian crossing at Riverside Drive and Main Street slows down traffic. We could potentially have a pretty significant impact on what would happen or what the traffic flow would be like from both vehicular and cycle and pedestrian. And quite frankly, if you look now, and I was kind of laughing a little bit on the picture you had up here as the City Hall and everything, you can see now that in the summertime we've got blooms of water lilies over here, and that's because as the river bulges out, not the river, but the retention pond because of the dam, as it bulges out, it's silting in, and that's feeding those water lilies. If we move that out and just make that be a straight connection, and to the north, open it up so that we fill in up to the first pier on the railroad trestle, so now that's 30 feet wide. The Park District has plans back that we had to put on hold for a while, put in mothballs, to then put a path up on the south side of Potawatomi Park up to 2nd Avenue and run a new path on the inside of the fence, so not on the existing sidewalk, and run it over to, North Avenue, and then you'd just curve up half a street and you'd be on 3rd going north. That would eliminate all of this confusion that people have now when they try and get bicycles and walk through here. When you take a bicycle and come up, even if you're lucky enough to remember that it's on Riverside Drive, but then you try and go up the hills, you're going to be walking the bike. There's no sidewalks. So that's interrupting traffic, etc. If we're going to fix this thing and we're going to redevelop this property in some way, why don't we address that project as well? It can be done, and it's that piece of it, quite frankly, is not that expensive. The wall is going to be expensive, but the bike trail itself is not. And quite frankly, right now in the state of Illinois, there's a significant number of grants available for exactly that kind of work. So that could be in addition to whatever comes out of the development. But all of that needs to be taken into consideration before decisions are made. I think you're getting closer, but you got a ways to go. And quite frankly, that walkway underneath Main Street Bridge can happen without touching the dam. It would come up exactly where the fish ladder is right now. And we could separate out pedestrian traffic from bicycle traffic so that it's safer. It would be wide enough to do that. I'm not an engineer, but I'm pretty sure in talking to the various civil engineer firms around the city that that can be done. Would it flood on occasion? Yes. But so does it underneath Prairie Street Bridge on the west side. You just design it and know that occasionally you got to clean the thing out if we get a big, heavy flood season. So I think we can create a real dynamic and exciting riverfront with the proper consideration of all the aspects, that go into things. I think that we need green space is very, very important, but it's not the only consideration in developing this property. If you really are concerned about green space, then take a look at the Active River project, which is in our comprehensive plan. It was adopted by the city as part of the comprehensive plan. It's mentioned, casually, I guess, in the RFP for these proposals, et cetera. If we do that, we create acres of new riverfront property. And that can be turned into parks, can be turned into recreational areas, can be turned into entertainment areas, et cetera, and improve safety on the river. So I know that's a big ask. It's been sitting quietly in the background for quite a while. But if that's really the goal, or one of the goals, then we got an answer that's already on paper. Take a look at it and dive into it. I don't want to go into the Active River project and all the aspects of it, but I will volunteer my time, as you volunteer all yours. Anybody, anywhere wants to sit and talk about what the Active River project could or can do, I'd be happy to meet with you. I got all the old slides, I got all the old materials. I'd be happy to meet anytime, as long as you buy the coffee. Anyway, thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Mike Canute, 112 North 5th Avenue. I'll be very brief tonight. I am here, as I've been at the last several meetings, to speak in opposition specifically to the Frontier Development proposal for the old police station site. And I should note that the people who I'm up here speaking on behalf of, we call ourselves the Citizens for Responsible Development. I think our objective is in alignment with the gentleman who just spoke here. We do want responsible development of that public riverfront property. We have never stood up here and said that we want no development on that site. We just want responsible development that makes sense for that site, that makes sense for our community, that has green space, that has open space, and frankly, adheres to a lot of the things that were set forth in the request for concept put together by this City Council. The Frontier Development proposal simply did not meet any of those requirements. We continue to hear from people in our community in opposition to the Frontier Development proposal specifically. There are still people in our community who are learning of it each day. They didn't even know it was on the table, but because of the efforts that many of the members in our community are putting forth to make people aware of that, we are getting email. We are sending you those email comments. I hope they're getting distributed to you because we are making an effort to get them to you. In fact, today, you should have all received an email with comments that came to our petition that is associated with our website. And there were at least a dozen, maybe closer to 15 comments that were specifically in opposition to the Frontier Development proposal. Comments that asked for the yard signs that we have that are opposing that development proposal. And we'll continue to forward those materials to you so that you are aware of the continuing community opposition to that proposal. I applaud Alderwoman Payleitner on her request for a meeting to discuss this specifically. I think that's a productive step forward so that this is addressed. I hope the City Council and the mayor continue to listen to the many, many residents. We have over 1,400 signatures on our petition as we speak, more coming every day. I hope that you take our viewpoints seriously and that you listen to the residents and voters in this community. And I'll just note that as Thanksgiving weekend is approaching here, I am thankful for the opportunity that myself and others in support of our cause, opposition to that particular proposal, that we do have the opportunity to get up here and make our viewpoint known to our city leaders. So thank you very much.
Any other comments? No? Okay. The only comments I have today are obviously Thanksgiving weekend, and we're very thankful to live in a great community. And I'm thankful for the people up here that you are all elected and give your time, and sometimes it's not always easy, so thank you. Again, as I mentioned before, we have Small Business Saturday coming up, but prior to that, we have Holiday Homecoming coming this Friday and Saturday, and Friday's lighting of the lights, and then Saturday is the parade, and I hope you'll all join us out there. It's a great parade. Small Business Saturday, Giving Tuesday, and city offices are closed, obviously, for the 24th and 25th. So does anyone else have any comments up here this evening? Staff, do you have anything? No? Okay, then we have no executive session, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Weber will move.
Second.
Moved by Weber, seconded by Wirball. Nancy, please call the roll.
Weber?
Yes.
Kulturitis?
Yes.
Calomeros?
Yes.
Haylander?
Yes.
Conger?
Yes.
Bancroft?
Yes.
Petula?
Yes.
Wirball?
Yes.
Besser?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go, Ron.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Pen doesn't work anymore. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call the Government Operations Committee for Monday, November 21st, 2022. Can you roll call, please?
Weber?
Here.
Calomeros?
Here.
Haylander?
Here?
Bongard?
Here.
Bancroft?
Here.
Lencioni? Petula?
Here.
Wirball?
Here.
Besser?
Here. Thank you. Administrative, we have video gaming for October 2022. Any questions or comments from anybody? Okay, that's just for information only. We have 2 items for omnibus vote tonight. Can I have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Moved by Brian, second by Ed. Roll call, please.
Weber?